Welcome back to another review of an overpriced LEGO Star Wars Summer 2025 set. In this video, we've got set 75430, WICKET the EWOK. It's got 1,010 pieces and a ridiculous retail price of $130. The box art is fairly simple, showing WICKET standing in the forest. He kind of looks like he has to pee, so we'll address that later in the video. We've also got the single minifig in the set, WICKET. The back of the box shows WICKET at another angle, some of the other stuff you get in the set, as well as the measurements for WICKET's build. So let's go ahead and unbox this one. On the inside, you're going to have numbered bags 1 through 12, which feels like a lot of numbered bags, 4,000 pieces. That's less than 100 pieces a bag on average. And then you've got your instruction manual, which is mostly normal, but there's notably a side-by-side shot of WICKET from the movie and in LEGO at the front, which is cool to see, so you can see how accurate it is. Getting into our lone minifigure here with WICKET the EWOK, at first glance it may seem like the exact same WICKET that we last saw in 2022, but when you put them side by side, they are actually different. So first off, his clothing is a different shade of orange. It's a bit lighter and less shiny looking than the previous version. The printing seems to be about the same, like same design, everything, maybe a little thicker on the lines on the new WICKET, if anything. And then the other little difference I noticed is the mold mark is now very noticeable on top of the head. That was not an issue with the previous version of WICKET, and now it's this bright little spot on top of him, which I don't love. I think that is a little downgrade on the top of his head. But outside the little dot on top, the rest of the WICKET is kind of standard, what you'd expect. Looks really nice, and this version does get the staff with him, which is really great to see. Obviously matches what we see with the bigger buildable character, but what doesn't match what we see is the omission of a little 1x1 tile to represent the cookie that Leia gave him. They have a bigger tile in the bigger set, so I'm not sure why that wasn't given to the minifig version here. But anyway, you take your minifig WICKET, put him on the display stand. Right next to the display plaque has some basic information about WICKET with his homeworld, species, height, gender, and affiliation. Really exactly what you'd expect to see here, and this is going to go nicely next to the larger WICKET build. So let's take a look at that. And here we are with our WICKET build. I'm actually fairly impressed with the look of this thing. I mean, it looks like WICKET, but one of the issues that I thought I would have with this is that on the box, the pose that he's in, yeah, okay, kind of from this angle too, makes it look like he's got to pee. And I felt like in real life, just depending on the angle you're looking at it from, it doesn't feel like that, but in this angle it does. Like a little bit of a lower angle here I think helps WICKET a ton. Same for when you look at it from the other side, as well as a sort of top down angle. Like if I had it on a lower shelf down there, you wouldn't notice the weird stance nearly as much. So I kind of expected the stance to kind of be a sticking point to me, but it's really not. It just kind of depends on how you're looking at it. Going deeper on the details for WICKET here, you've got some really nice part usage on top of his head with these boomerang pieces. Like I think that's genius work up there to represent, I feel like it's kind of like some stitching that they've got going on in universe. So looks very nice there. Then you've got the ear design, which I believe is symmetrical, like the same on both sides there. The inside of the ear is also slightly inset, so it's got a little bit more depth there, which is really awesome. Like that little tiny detail I think goes a long way, as well as the representation of the furry look for his ears, making use of some cheese slopes as well as some other textured slope pieces there. Another great part about the ear design is the way that they pop out of the like orange cloth piece that's draped around his head, and I really like that. I think that's really cool and accurate to what we see in the movie. Also, the ears are slightly posable. You can move them up, you can move them down just slightly, so you can get a little bit of posability there. I don't know. Does it really count? Probably not. It's probably just a byproduct of however it was designed, but it is technically something that you can change if you want to change. Now, the rest of the design for the orange part, which is, again, the cloth that he is wearing, is really nice looking. The color contrasts nicely to the rest of his body and the color of his fur. Like, love that. Also got a little bit of dark tan mixed in there as well. Love that dark tan color from LEGO, just a great color. But yeah, it's really well designed, minimal gaps all around. You can see like there's some really thin ones, but really minimal gaps all around. You're not going to have any major complaints there. Maybe mine is this lime green on the back. Like, why not just use one of the orange-ish pieces under there? Like, would have looked so much nicer. Or really any color that's not like a vibrant highlighter color would have been nice, because that just really pops out to me. Now, when it comes to the face design, you know, they say beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and it turns out I'm actually holding him, so I get to decide. And I actually think WICKET's face is really good. Now, there is kind of the standard like uncanniness or creepiness that we get from LEGO buildable characters when it comes to some of these faces. pieces, but I think they did an incredible job here. Really save for a couple of gaps just on either side of the eyes. Like they filled in nicely with the pieces like in tan that are representing the fur, so that's great. And then you've got the mouth, the nose, and the eyes. Like that's really cool to me. The nose is pretty cute, nice and round. The teeth are maybe the weirdest part to me because it makes it look a little bit cheesy in a way. No pun intended. Also, this piece can move, but it's not his mouth. It's just the way that it's built. So yeah, another like fake posability thing. The printed eyes though, I think look good and give Wicket a good bit of life as he stares into your soul. What I also think is cool about the face is that it's angled slightly, so it's not completely flat to the rest of the build, and so you can see that slight backwards angle. What is also neat is behind there is the brain of Wicket that you can see during the build process. And while we're talking about what's inside, there's also a heart inside of Wicket that you can see during the build process. So a couple of little Easter eggs inside throughout the build are definitely going to be fun for builders. Looking at the rest of Wicket's body here, you can see the back is very flat, not a lot of texture like representing fur or anything. Really just the back of the legs have a little something there. It's kind of funny, these pieces always remind me of porgs because they, I think first for Star Wars used it on a porg, I remember, so at least that's my memory, and I just always think of porgs when I see that piece. Looking at the very bottom of the legs, you're not going to have like a gap or anything here, like the pieces are all the way together. That's what the bottom of the feet look like, nothing crazy going on there, and you've got no posability here. Like this is just all solid as a rock here, nothing is going on, so no posability for Wicket's legs at all. You are stuck with the stance they give you. Looking at his toes, you can break them off, I guess. But seriously, you can actually just like lift them up a little bit, and so you get some slight posability there, but they also look awkward when they're not touching the ground. So we're just going to push them all back down now. And that leaves us with our last detail or function, if you want to call it that, with the arms and their attachments. And I do really like that the arms are not as stiff looking as the legs. They have a little bit more of a pose going on with them, but they also still aren't posable. Like you are kind of stuck with what you have. Technically, his right arm does move slightly, but I mean, come on, we're really going to call that posability. So I was quite surprised to find out the inside of his hand doesn't have any studs, which means when you hand him the cookie from Leia, there's nowhere for it to actually attach in there, which is just how I kind of assumed it would work, and it doesn't work like that. So the way I've been doing is I push that little finger in, I try to push all of these like much closer together and just kind of jam it in there. Ideally, you want this top finger to kind of cut into the back of the cookie there just so it kind of holds it up a little bit, and it actually can get a pretty good grip on there. Well, maybe it doesn't right now. Let's see if I've got it in there better now. So depending on how you cram that cookie in there, you can get a really good grip, and he is not letting go of that, even though it's not actually attached with any studs or anything. So yeah, that's pretty nice, I guess. Now with his other arm, I really like that it's not like completely flat to the body. Like it's also got a nice angle, like backwards angle to it. And then the elbow like points up a little bit. And then inside of the hand here, you have the Technic piece. I thought, hey, this might be removable, and I gave it my best try. And it's like one of those swords at Disney where you go up and try to pull it out of the hole or whatever, and it doesn't let you pull it out. So they definitely want you to display it with the Wicket's spear, which is fine. We can just attach it with that Technic piece right there. There we go. And then his fingers can also wrap around this, no problem. So I think with the spear in hand, he looks pretty cool. The spear can be turned slightly. I would not recommend turning it inward because I think it looks worse like that because it's actually touching him. I think that's just awkward, but you pointed out a little bit, and I think that's going to be kind of the ideal look for Wicket with his spear. It would be really cool if you could make it look like he was about to throw it, but I don't think you're going to be able to get that angle on the arm unless you do some serious modifications there. But that's everything Wicket does. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. It's a buildable EWOK Wicket, and it looks really cool. Functions as you'd expect, maybe minus some posability, but really the issue with this set is the price. So let's look at him next to a couple other models. Also available as of the release of Wicket, we have Grogu with his pram and R2-D2. Both of those sets are $100. Both of those sets have more pieces than Wicket, and not that price per piece is the end-all be-all. I actually hate using that as a metric for value, but it's pretty clear here that all of these builds are about the same size, about the same amount of stuff, and so it's not clear why this set is $30 more than the other two. Like Lego is just price gouging on Wicket for some reason, which is a really odd set to price gouge on. Usually they do that on Clone Trooper sets. But yeah, this set should not be $30 or 30% more than these other two sets. The value is not there. There is nothing about this set that should command that price. Ultimately, you shouldn't be paying a penny over $99.99 for Wicket. And to that point, yeah, I wouldn't recommend buying this for $130. Like, why would you? It's clearly not worth that. Shoot, why don't we bring in K2 K2SO because that's a $90 set releasing the same time as this Wicket, and you can see like where's the $40 difference here. I mean, come on, who are we kidding here? Like, this is a ridiculous price on this Wicket. But I mean, ultimately I really like the set. I like it more than I thought I would. Like, it's a great addition to the buildable character lineup. It's one that I'm actually surprised took this long for them to get to because it seems like such a slam dunk type of buildable character for them to make. But when you sell it for $130, I mean, you aren't going to sell a lot of them. So I do hope more people get to buy this and enjoy it, but not at $130. You got to wait for the price on this one to dip under 100. So let me know what you think about it in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the review, hit the like button. You can check out more LEGO Star Wars Summer 2025 set reviews on the end screen now.